It would have been the mid-90s, and no, it's 10 times better is the answer. Particularly at the beginning of that process, in the mid-90s, if you said the words minor league baseball around York, most people's memories went to what's now Hoffman Stadium, Old Memorial Stadium. I don't think any of us, including me, really understood what modern minor league baseball is all about, which is partly about magnificent facilities, but largely about affordable, authentic family entertainment. So that in reality, what we're doing here today is 10 times better than what any of us could have imagined the first time Charlie Robertson suggested we ought to look at this.
All right, fans, it's time to play ball.
Now, as we went on and learned more about the modern business of minor league baseball, obviously we saw facilities like this and we understood better what was going on. Although I have to tell you, I've been to a lot of minor league baseball parks and a fair number of major league ones, and there is still no place on earth as a baseball stadium I like better than here. The left field wall.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Hi, Doc.
Where the picnic area is, the grass outfield, the interaction on the concourse, the front plaza, the whole environment in this ballpark, the people interacting with the building, the hills, the green hills and part of the outfield, the industrial buildings in right field, the train tracks. To me, this place embodies everything that's great about York, both physically and in terms of people. It's interesting. There are people out there who say that Yorkers can be parochial. The flip side of being parochial is that they're loyal and that they care tremendously about their town. And I think that has now translated itself to they care tremendously about their team. We clearly have a hardcore fan base that cares a lot about baseball, both the game and the players, and cares about the success of the team. I think the adoption has also been an adoption of the project and the place I was just talking about. So, yes, I think York is a baseball town. York is a family town. York is a community-focused place, a place that takes a lot of pride, whether that's the local football team in Red Line or Dallastown or Dover or Mount Wolf, because there's now a local football team in Mount Wolf, or whether that's the community York thing, whether that's the York Fair, the York Revolution, whatever it is. York's a community-oriented place, and I think they have adopted both the team and this place, Sovereign Bank Stadium. This is fundamentally not about baseball. This is about authentic, affordable family entertainment, and I think we also do that extremely well. As we speak, there are lines of people waiting at our front gates to get a cap that has the name of a sponsor on the back that's a locally owned business. So I think what we have also done well is bring local businesses into this project, whether that is as sponsors, advertisers, vendors, business partners of ours. We have presented the product to the community in a way that embraces the values of York. And I think also we've made the building available to the community so that it's not just about 70 baseball games a year. If boxing's your thing, you can come here and see boxing. If pets are your thing, we have an event coming up here that's being put on by the SPCA at the end of September. That's a pet expo. If running is your thing, we have a couple running races that start here. I met with somebody here earlier that wants to hold a church retreat here this winter. So in any number of ways, this facility is getting used as a community facility, and I think we've done that very well.
If I pitch, can you catch? Will you hold the ball when you step to the plate? Will you swing and fall? If you play, you gotta know how it's done. Can you catch? Can you hold a hard ball?
How do we go from startup to sustainability and growth? You know, we're in year 4. Clearly, the novelty has worn off. The people who are going to come here to just see what it's all about have been here for the most part. 4 years in, if you're actually curious and haven't come yet, you know, you're probably not all that curious. So we're at a point now that we need to take, first of all, we need to move the organization from startup mode to sustainable business. And we need to take the next step in terms of penetrating the York County potential fan and audience to come in and see what we do. I am actually astounded how often here in year 4 people tell me it's the first time at the ballpark. The other night we welcomed our millionth fan, a great little 4-year-old kid. Guess what? First time at the ballpark. The other night we had Faith and Family Night. here. I looked around the ballpark. You could tell that there were hundreds of people who'd never been here because they were looking at their tickets and looking up at the section numbers and asking the ushers for help. Once you've been here once or twice, you've pretty much got the seat and section numbering system figured out. We had a ticket giveaway in association with National Night Out. Those tickets were redeemed last Tuesday. I saw hundreds of people who said to me or said to the media that they'd never been here before. It was their first time at the stadium. So clearly there's a huge untapped market. There's a huge upside potential. Our job is to execute the marketing and advertising strategy, the family entertainment strategy, the community outreach strategy. It's to take the pieces we've done so far and do them 10 times bigger and 10 times better and to create that sustainable business. You know, I've been in New York for 23 years. This is not from here, but I figured at the 20-year mark I can at least consider myself adopted in York, you know. But I would also make the point that my wife and I have chosen to make this our home. So there must be something wonderful about this place that we've chosen to stay here. Well, one of those wonderful things is, in fact, these deep relationships, whether those are family roots or roots around nonprofit organizations and community service. You know, York is not a big government town. Yorkers are not typically people who are fans of big government. Well, if you're not going to be fans of big government, you have to be fans of some other way of providing for people's needs. In York, what we have is tremendous community service organizations, whether that's high-profile civic leaders or the on-the-ground people, grandmothers reading to kids in the elementary schools as volunteers at every level. So what I'm interested in as a person, not as the president of this business, but as a person, I love the fact that this is not a big government town, but is in fact a place where people reach out and do what needs to be done. We need to do that same thing as an organization. Now, is it a smart business strategy? Yes, but it's by far not the only reason that it will grow. It's something I believe in, and it's something that has been part of our life here in York in terms of being involved in any number of community organizations. I think the other thing that people need to know is that we are in this for the long term. We have 16 years left on our lease, and that's just the initial term. We're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere at this point. And all of our community outreach strategies, our business strategies, our marketing strategies, everything we're doing needs to be looking out 2, 3, 4, 5 years. The return, you know, in business there's a lot of focus these days on a short-term return, this quarter or this year. Yes, we need to have a return on our investment as a business on a season-by-season basis, but I would prefer to be looking out and saying, what are we doing today that is an investment in the relationship with our community that's going to pay off in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and build not a one-time transactional relationship where a fan comes once and buys a ticket, but builds that long-term loyalty, that grows that group of core customers that live and die with the team, or that live and die with the experience, that on a beautiful evening like tonight, their first instinct is to say, you know what, we have so much fun every time we go to the ballpark. We love the environment. I keep using the word authentic. I think people are more and more looking for authentic experiences. We spend so much time watching television, playing video games, texting on our cell phones, that I think the opportunity to stop that occasionally and come with your family or your kids, or for that matter by yourself because you're going to see a friend here inevitably. I think people really enjoy that experience, and I think the more we can expose people to that experience, the more we can do it really, really well. And by do it, I mean just execute the basics of a sparkling, clean, beautiful ballpark, of a friendly staff. I wrote the program playbill letter this time for the first time, and I said, you know, our job is to do the basics extremely well every time, and then to occasionally surprise and delight you. That's you know, if we could surprise and delight you every time you come, that would be great. But we need to occasionally surprise and delight people where they come out to the ballpark and something happens that is so neat, or they have an experience that is so good that they say, you know, I've emotionally am connected to that and want to keep coming. And we need to make an investment in the community in a way that builds that over the long haul. Well, I guess I would add an assurance to our hardcore baseball fans that I'm one of them. You know, I've been involved in this project for quite a number of years, including now the last 4 years as a fan. Every fan is the most important fan. And whether it's the fan of the baseball game or whether it's the fan of this experience I'm talking about, I want to continue to see it through their eyes because I care so much about having everybody who comes here have just a fantastic experience. You know, my goal is to really continue to see this through the eyes of the fans and through the eyes of the people in the community who have entrusted us really with their business.